We continue our coverage of the breaking news coming out of Waco, Texas this morning. Our correspondent Robert Vito has been talking with federal authorities. As we look at this live picture, Bob, you've been speaking with the authorities and you have more on their plans.
Yeah, the game plan, federal authorities say, is to, whether it's going to be all today or over the next couple of days, is to tear down the compound, building by building. They'll go in, they'll take down one, then they'll move in and take down another one, as you've already seen. And the idea is to isolate all the people inside that compound into a single group. What they're also doing is they have planes in the air, reconnaissance aircraft that are flying overhead, and they're using heat-seeking devices. And with this sophisticated material, they can locate each individual from the body heat that they give off, so that they know where people are inside that compound all the time. I think that the game plan is that they would like to isolate the adults from the children, and they're still struggling how to do that. But the bottom line is they want to get at least all the people together inside the compound. And again, they expect to continue to do that through the day. Maybe they'll finish it today. That we don't know yet.
All right, Robert Vito, thanks very much. We should mention that the FBI has scheduled a briefing. It's at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and CNN is planning to bring you live coverage of that.
CNN correspondents Mike Capps and Brian Jenkins are as close as members of the press can get to the Branch Davidian compound. They're in the Waco area and are covering the story this morning. Gentlemen, you've probably, I hope you just heard Robert Vito report that he understands the feds plan to tear the compound down building by building. Does anything you're seeing indicate that that is what they're doing? Could they simply be doing that and doing it very, very slowly?
Bob, from my vantage point, I don't see how they could... What they did was look like the first step of that, but they have not done anything else that we can see from our vantage point here that would remotely indicate that's what they're going to do. However, that was a widely discussed possibility throughout the 51 days of this siege, is that they would do that. Now, there's a shot of the command post that's about a mile from the location where Brian Jenkins and I are standing right now, and it looks like there are dozens of police and federal agents' vehicles there, so they have a terrific show of force out here at the Branch Davidian compound, about 10 to 12 miles northeast of Waco, Texas.
Mike, the question at this point is, where is David Koresh and where are his followers? There were radio reports earlier that Koresh was on the phone with FBI negotiators. We were not able to confirm that, and we don't know from which room in the compound or which underground passageway he may have been talking on the phone, if indeed he was. You raised the possibility earlier of the group coalescing in some part of the building. We don't want to be alarmist, but Koresh had in the past talked of a mass suicide. That is a possibility. We hope that the FBI is still in contact with the people inside. Everyone is concerned about those 17 children who are inside and what effect tear gas may have on them. Bob Vito was talking about the high technology reconnaissance equipment that is being used in this and all the resources that are going into it, and it reminds me that this operation, this standoff, has been costing the taxpayers some $1 million a week. This has been a very expensive proposition, and the FBI has said that their patience would run out at some time, but we're seeing Satellite City here. This is the media compound about 3 miles away from the Branch Davidian compound. We are all set up along a country road here with our satellite trucks and our cameras. You saw the staging area earlier. That is about a mile away, closer to the Branch Davidian compound. This is where the FBI and ATF have been set up. Again, we do hope those negotiations are going on at this point, but one has to wonder why the Branch Davidians, with all their firepower, all their weapons, all their machine guns, and alleged catch of explosives, why they have not returned fire. We talked about possibly a person being seen in a window earlier. We are seeing the compound now. Our cameramen here tell us that they have seen a curtain flapping in that window previously. It could also be a piece of cellophane or some other type of window covering, so we aren't sure that somebody actually did come to the window. I would say the likelier prospect is that they have retreated to some interior space or underground space. And Bonnie Anderson talked about the various types of underground bunkers. There's even a school bus buried beneath the compound.
Brian, while we're looking at this shot right here, let's reinforce the point of this tearing down the complex. That's the front area, the front door. If we could pan back over to the right just a little bit there, we could see that. I guess we're not going to be able to see it, but just to the right, up a little bit to the right is the main portion, the front door. So if they in fact are going to tear this down, maybe they're making a point that okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to systematically tear it down. We're going to start at the main portion here, and we'll go from there. All
right, gentlemen, before we interrupt to take a break, I'd like to ask you one thing. We have been informed by a viewer, a retired Army person, that what we have been calling a tank with an apparent sort of a battering ram attached is actually what he calls a CEV, a construction, rather a combat engineering vehicle that did the ramming and the tearing apart of the building we see there. Do you see that vehicle now?
It appears to have moved off. I don't see it anywhere near. The last armored vehicle I saw, Bob, was a Bradley fighting vehicle that was back toward us as this shot is seen, and I haven't even seen it the last pan we made of this area. So maybe we're in a lull, perhaps having backed off for a few minutes to assess where they're headed.
All right, let's take a brief break, gentlemen. We will, when we continue, then resume our coverage of events in Waco as they unfold and look at the rest of the day's news.